Yes, guys. Hope everyone is good. Are we though? But we should be. It's just football, right? It's just football. But anyway, look, I was gonna make a video last night, and I'll be honest, I started making a video last night, um, and I wasn't happy with me in that. It was right after kickoff, after the final whistle, literally seconds. I just turned the camera on and pressed record. It didn't, it didn't sit right with me what I was saying. It was too critical. It was too emotional. I didn't put it out because I don't want to portray that. I don't think that's fair. I've sat back, I've thought about it, I've reflected. Reflection is huge in every walk of life, in my opinion. I have to reflect, and that's why I don't want to rush videos out when I know I'm not in the right mental space to do it. I have reflected, and I'll be honest, I'm still conflicted. My opinion is this: there's two types. I have two slightly different opinions depending on what perspective I'm coming from. In terms of performance, again, I'm all right with it. I think it was a good game. I think we played well. I think we were dominant in areas against a side with Unai Emery as the coach, who's been beating some big teams recently, by the way. I think we were the better team for most of the game. I think, obviously, the start, and I'm going to get into individual mistakes again, and how endlessly draining that is. Because it just is, innit? It just is. But, yeah, we looked a threat. We looked a real threat. Our expected goals was very high because we had a few very good chances compared to those Aston Villa players who didn't necessarily, apart from the goals they scored, and even one of them wasn't a huge chance. It was just bad defending, which is a theme. I'm trying not to be overcritical because I've got to understand, I've got to put things in perspective. I've got to go on my values and what I believe. It's difficult because you get tested in football. When you lose, it's so difficult. And as an analyst, right, the hard thing as an analyst is when you lose, it's so difficult because you have to watch the game back and try and find, as well as weaknesses, areas that you were good and try to be positive all the time. And it's difficult, but the performance for me was good. I thought it was a good performance. It did. And I can't necessarily sit here asking my manager to be sacked after a performance like that. In terms of result, yes, the wins is not good, is it? It's another loss, and we're near the relegation now. I think we're just outside of it. We're in trouble in that sense. I'm constantly fighting with results and performance because as a fan, you want results and to play good football. From my perspective, I want a performance. I want to see development. I want to see improvement. Now, looking at the table, there's no improvement. But I do think, although we've not been great this year overall, I do think we're a lot better than what our points are suggesting in terms of what we've had in games and opportunities in games and how a lot of our games are lost in moments as opposed to large periods. Again yesterday, again against West Ham, it's individual moments that have lost us games. You could play a 90-minute game and be good for 80 minutes and have a 2-minute moment of play where they're better than you and they could score a goal in that and you could lose a football match. I look at the start of the season and we were having more of it. We were having good moments and we were capitalising on those moments. And then we've hit a lull and we hit a kind of realisation of how long and grinding every game is in this league. And we just seem to not have those moments our way. It's really difficult to articulate what is going on, how we can figure it out. But for me, we've just got to keep doing it. We've got to keep going, and I guess that's the risk. That's what's tough. And from as an owner, obviously you're thinking, Jesse, we need more points here. Jesse's going, I know. We're aware. Not just Jesse, guys. We've got to think about the coaching staff as well. They're all part of this. And he's missing a serious. I think he's lost two now. We lost a guy earlier. Was it Frankie? I think I can't remember. Coaching staff. I can't stress how important coaching staff are. A coach doesn't have everything. A coach is really good and they're there because they know a lot of things, but they're not good at everything, right? It's about getting the right staff behind you to implement your philosophy. If you're not the best motivator, you have a staff who's good at motivating. If you're not the best tactical, you have a staff who's good at tactical bits. If you're not good at individuals, you get a staff that's good with individuals. That's how it works. It's not just on Jesse, the result, it's on the staff, it's on everything. And I know I've been in positions where our teams have not been doing well, and I feel guilty. And I'm an analyst, and I feel so guilty that the session wasn't good enough. We didn't give them the right information. And it's difficult. You know, you feel guilt. You've got to try step up together. But yeah, talking about moments, individual moments, you know, and it is. Villa didn't dominate us for any period of that match. They had 2-3 minutes in about 4 or 5 different stints where they had the ball and did a bit. But then Ilhan Millier was not busy. But we've conceded 2 goals. And I now get into them, and I'm not happy with them at all. Last night, I couldn't. I'm just so angry with how basic the mistakes are. It's not even complex mistakes. It's basic mistakes. The first goal from our corner, you cannot concede from your corner. And I get it, right? I think that's the coach's setup. You can blame the coaches for that. There's more than one coach there. Trust me, you work an assistant, or if you're even the main, if there's someone on set piece, it might not be Jesse, right? It might be someone else. Everyone overlooks it. Even an analyst will overlook it. That's their job, right? You look at set pieces. Well, I do. And you say, right, oh, we've conceded. Let's look at the set piece. Is that right? Now, hopefully we'll rectify that and that won't happen again, because that should not happen. The counter is something, as we saw from their other goal, which is just, we're struggling on it. And that's why now we've got to work together as a club, all the coaches and the coaching staff and the analysts, to figure this out. But it's alright them figuring it out, but the players have to step up, and the players, having said that, cannot make these oh my god, these mistakes, these just amateur mistakes, because they're better than that, right? Premier League footballers, we've seen them better than that. We know they're better than that. Pascal, I love Pascal, but my god, the goals were his fault. They were. I mean, the build-up to the goals were not his fault. But in moments, again, it's as an individual, you have to win your moments. And he didn't win any. And as a player on that pitch, if you don't win any of your moments, your team is going to struggle. And he didn't win any moments against Bailey. None. Verpo was on for 2 minutes and he tackled Bailey more times than Stroud did. And that's once. I think, from my memory. I don't think Stroud did. If I apologize, I'm watching it back and I'll do some analysis on it. But yeah, and I get it, he's not a left back, but it's not even that for me. It does affect your position. It does affect what you think's around you, obviously. But first, can I forgive just because it's the first one in the game. But the second goal, he's done exactly the same thing, and you have to be smarter there. You just have to be. I'm sorry, you have to be. I'm seeing defenders with the ball at the feet trying this crazy pass through. It's not even through, they just pass it to their players. And you can say it was no options. Let me tell you something right now. Even if it's not an option, even if there's no options, sorry. The goalkeeper is always there. If you have to go there to get it up, do it. Like, there's always an option in football. Especially when, well, there isn't, but when you're centre-back and everything's in front of you, there's always options next to you and behind you. You don't have to always go with that forward ball. And people will say, well, that's what the coaching are telling him to do. Maybe. But use your brain as a professional footballer. You're not going to get dropped because you played a sideways pass. You probably won't even know. Jesse isn't saying every time we have the ball forward. He's not saying that. It's an opportunity there, do it. But endless times we tried to force it and it's just not on. Slow it down. And in moments where we do that, we work it out wide to Gnonto. We played wide again, which apparently we don't do, which we just do. But there is areas where we are very narrow, but there's also areas where we're very wide. And people will say, well, that's the players taking it on themselves. All right. Well, the players say that I want that same mentality for the players when the defenders have the ball at centre back and they pass it straight to the midfield because to their midfield, to the opponent's midfield, because they're being told to do that. Take it on yourself and just pass it out. Same mentality. Footballers work in a system, but footballers do what they want a lot of the time. That's why coaches are always stood up shouting, because the players are not doing what they need. It's endless. When Jesse was talking about he wants to be redundant, he doesn't want to stand shouting, and people complain about it. That makes sense as a coach. In an elite environment, the ideal scenario is the players play themselves, and you don't have to coach them. You see it in rugby, you see it in so many sports, but in football, it's just not there. It's not. It never will be. It's different, isn't it? There's so many slight, small, tactical things that footballers need every second of a game, unfortunately. But yeah. It's just tough because you look at these individual mistakes every single week, and it is every single week. There's at least one. Even if they don't score from it, it's endless. It's endless. And they have to stop, and they have to change their mentality. So Jesse talking about an assistant a few days ago. Well, I want get him in, whoever he is, get him in. Because they need it. Yeah. And again, like, everything about yesterday annoyed me. Even the rut stuff, that's dragging on. But I don't think it's been announced since I'll check Twitter. Yeah, still nothing. Like, everything about yesterday just annoyed me. The fact that we could just... We know we're better than that. We stop losing. Stop coming from behind. We need points. We're not going to get points if we just keep doing mistakes. We've scored a lot of goals. Look at the teams around in the league. We've scored a lot of goals. In that position, we've scored loads. And like, I get people are annoyed and negative, but there is more to it than just looking at a league and going, we've only won 2 in 17. We're backwards. We're going backwards. We're lower than we are this time last year. I hear that. But for me, we're in games more this year. Competing more this year. We're not playing better football necessarily in the little periods we did 3 or 4 games last year. We played good football. That's about it. But we're more competitive, and I'm seeing younger players such as William Gnonto thrive more and recruiting better, and I just think we need a bit more time. All right, hear me out. In the next 4 or 5 games are winnable, okay? If we can get players in, if we can see an improvement in those performances consistently in the next few games, for me, I don't think people can question the manager. But then I see it, if we perform well and don't get any wins in the next few games, we're in big trouble. Right, this is the 2 sides to it. And this is where you have to decide what side you're on. And for me, right now, I'm on the performance side. Because that's who I am. I want points. I want to stay in this league. And I think the best way of staying in this league is to stick with what we've got. And I know that's controversial. But I think so many managers, Arteta, different, better players. It was never relegation that was a threat, was it? It wasn't relegation. It was being out of the top 4. They stuck with him. And what were they now? David Moyes. I know they're struggling now, but they stuck with him. They were bad a few years ago. I remember they were in relegation. Bad. But last year they were in Europa League. Even Graham Potter, to an extent, at Brighton, didn't do well the first few seasons, but then stepped it up. There's more as well. There's so many more. It honestly could go on and go on. Look, Jurgen Klopp's first season at Liverpool, check that out. Check what happened there. Not great. Like, I don't know. Obviously, the risk now is, but we are down there and we need points. I hear that. I just think it's difficult to get a coach and give up on everything because I suppose I see improvements. That's just me. I do. From last year, I see improvements. And yes, Bielsa got sacked for that, but Bielsa got fired in March, not January. So, do you give him that time? Is that a fair comparison of improvements? Because we could go on a 4-game winning streak, right? Unlikely, but you could until March, right? That could happen. But then is March too late? If it doesn't work out, right? I get it. I'm not an owner of a club. I'm backing the manager just because I like what I see. I like what we could be, and I still see that. And I just think we need to cut out. We've got to change our mentality. We've got to cut out individual mistakes. We have to adapt slightly, and Jesse has to adapt slightly. And I think he has in little ways. I think he has adapted his system. There's a few more we've got to adapt. I think he needs more help backing from his staff, to be honest. I think he needs more help and he needs more staff in there because that's important. And players need to step up. The attacking players are doing their best. Defensively, we've got to be on tune with them. We have to. That's only fair on the attacking players that are doing their best every game to try and get something. But yeah. You saw to me yesterday, I was done with everything. Not just like everything, every play. I was done. But I've reflected and thought about it. If we'd have played really bad yesterday, I'd have struggled to speak highly of what's going on. But we were good. We were better than them. We were better than them. We didn't lose that game because they were better than us. We lost the game because of individual mistakes. We didn't lose the game because they dominated. They didn't lose the game because they were better. Not a chance. We were better than them. We were better than West Ham, in my opinion, especially for the second half. I think, apart from 2 or 3 games, we've been in every single game. We've been in them. We've been in the games. I can't take that out of my mind. We're in them. We are in them. We're there. We're close. Whether it's pretty football, I think that's going to take longer. That's going to take confidence, and you don't get that when you're down there. We're in them. We need more players to step up like 19-year-old William Janto is, because he's absolutely tearing up and I love him to bits. He's fantastic. Him and Tyler Adams and Rodrigo are showing everyone how it's done in this, for me, currently, in this team. They are outstanding. Everyone needs to look at them and step up. That's the truth. But yeah, I'm waffling. I'll do a midweek video. Please leave a like, because it helps. I know I don't like to be that guy, but it does. More interactions. That's why comments are good as well. More interactions, YouTube shows you video more. It just helps, right? As a sub, if you enjoy, I appreciate anyone that lasted this long of me waffling. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your opinions. If you think he's out, let me know. I'm alright with that. That's fine. I understand it. I just see something. I just see we're always in them. We're always in games. We just let ourselves down before we decide to play. We let ourselves down. It's mentality, right? Got to fill it out from the start. But whatever. Yeah, thanks for the support. I appreciate it. And yeah, stay positive. I'll try. Peace. Good luck.